I have started drawing this handle, this nylon handle in CAD, and here's what I have so far. I've taken the liberty of just going this far to save us some time so we can look at scale and so forth. What you will notice is that here in the side view, I have used an object line and taken a bite out of my part. Now let me just, I'm on the object layer, let me just show you how I would do that. I actually made these bite lines with ordinary individual lines. So if I click on one of these, each one of those segments is an individual line. That was probably stupid. I probably should have done a polyline, though I'm not sure why. It probably doesn't matter. So I just got a polyline command here. And let me just show you how I'll be out in space here, just kind of, oh, you know what? And what else you have to do is do not have your ortho on. That will make it impossible. So turn off ortho, and let me erase that little line and start again. I'll start with a polyline now that ortho is off, and I'll just get out here in space and just kind of make some zigzaggy bite marks. I like to zoom in a little bit closer so that I can make shorter line segments. Now, another thing that you might like to do as you're making your bite marks, let me undo that with a Control Z. When you're zoomed in close here, drawing these zigzaggy lines, if you get too close to another line, your O-snaps might suck you into that other point, whatever it is. So you might want to turn off your O-snaps right here. And notice when you hover over O-snap, it says O-snap is F3. So you might want to try getting in the habit of, as you're drawing your line, well, let me come over here and let me just I'll do another line. You would not have this on your drawing, but I just want to make a point. So when I start my line, I do want an O-snap because I want to be touching the edge of my part. But now, when I make my zigzags, I don't want to be snapping to all those other points. So what I do is, as I'm drawing, I could go down here and hit that button, but I find it convenient to hit the F3 key. And I'm going to hit my F3 key right now, and when I do, watch my O-snap button turn off. See that? It turned off. Now I can go zigzag, and no matter how close I get to another line, there are no O-snaps happening. Now when I get to the end, if I want to, I can turn my O-snaps back on, and I'm going to do that right now with my F3 key. Watch my O-snap button down there in the taskbar, F3, boop, it comes on. So you can, and now I'm going to turn it on and off. It's on, it's off, it's on, it's off. And see in the command line it's saying O-snap on and off. So I like to do that, turn my O-snap on and off as I'm drawing to make it easy to snap when I want to snap and stay away from snaps when I don't want snaps. I'll undo that line now with a Control Z. I could go up here and do my undo arrow, but I like Control Z. Okay, so let's say I've gotten my bite mark here. Now I want to make sure that the stuff inside the bitten out part, the broken out part, the stuff inside here, these lines, are visible because I've now broken out part of the object, so these are in fact visible. And see what I have here? The part of my inner hole that's inside the broken out part is one line on the object layer, escape, and the part of that hole in the unsectioned part is another separate line, and it's on the hidden layer. And notice when I click that line, the hidden layer lit up in the layer line, escape. Now I'll click on this line again, and that's on the object layer. So make sure you know where your visible and invisible invisible and hidden lines are. And then you can get a hatch layer. That's going to be a thin line. And use the hatch command. In fact, let me do that right now. Let me just erase this. Let me just erase that hatch. I'm on the hatch layer. I'm going to, so I've got my visible lines. I've made a broken out line, and I'll come to my hatch button. I'll tell it pick points. Now, theoretically, I should be changing the scale of my hatch. I have trouble with hatch scale, and it doesn't always seem to correlate to the drawing scale factor, and honestly, I don't know why. Maybe you do. So I'll just try a hatch scale of 1, even though that should be wrong, and I'll pick points, and now I can just click. Oh yeah, that was wrong. Okay, that's too far apart. Okay, so I suspect we're going to have a drawing scale factor of 1/2. So let me go to the hatch command, and here in the scale, let me type 1/2 or 0.5. I don't need all the zeros. It will fill them in. Now I'll try pick points. Ah, yes, that's better. And when I come into an area here, it just automatically chooses where the boundaries are. So I'll click there, and while I'm here, I will go down to the bottom and click down here too. So now I have one whole hatch pattern in both sides of the cutout stuff. All right. Let me zoom out a little bit. When you're dimensioning, it will be tempting to say, oh goody, I've got circles here, I'll just put dimensions on all these circles. And I want to remind you that our whole goal in making a drawing is to support our internal customer, who might be a machinist or a mold maker or a tool and die maker, or somebody who's going to make this part. And if you put dimensions on all these circles here, your poor machinist or mold maker is going to have to slow down and try and figure out which of these circles you mean to refer to which of these grooves. You're going to make it hard for them. And you're going to increase the potential that they'll mistake one for another one and make it wrong. So I strongly encourage you to dimension at least most of these groove things in the side view. And let's start dimensioning, and we're going to see now why we need first to go to our viewport and figure out our scale. So I'm just going to do a dimension here, and then we're going to see, oh wait, we should set our dimension scale first. So let me get a linear dimension. The diameter dimension will not work because that only works for circles, unfortunately. So I'm going to get the linear dimension. And remember that to avoid crossing dimensions, it's good to have the smallest dimension closest to the part and then work your way outward. So I think I will start with the second smallest dimension. I'll start with this one. I'll come out here. So that's going to be a 1/4 inch diameter, but I don't see a diameter symbol, so I'm going to look down here in the options and I see, oh yeah, M text, or type M for M text. And now it lets you edit your stuff. And I'm so smart, I happen to remember that the shortcut for diameter is %, C, C for circle. And as soon as I type that, looky there, the diameter symbol shows up. And now I can close text editor or click outside that thing, and there we are. I'm thinking that this very smallest hole, because it's so obvious, we could dimension that in the circular, in one or the other of the circular views. But now notice what my problem is. This text looks huge because remember, this is a little tiny part. So this is not the right size, I don't think. Let us go to our paper space. I'm going to double click and try to get my, I'm going to pan and try and get my stuff down here. Okay. Let me look under the drop down here and let me try a 2:1. Well, that is much better. Let's try that. And now next thing I do is I close my viewport so I don't mess it up. And now I will edit my text in my title block. Need to make sure that is accurate. Okay, now it's 2:1. Now, if my viewport scale is 2:1, that means my drawing scale factor is 1:2, or 1/2. So now I'm going to go to the Annotate tab and go set my dimension style. I will modify, and in the Fit tab, I will change that scale to 1/2, or 0.5. And watch what happens to my dimension text when I close here. Let's see if I can move this out of the way. Okay, watch the dimension text. See that? See how it got smaller? So it is now scaled to work inside a viewport that is scaled at 1:2. And now you'll have to fool around with how to fit all this stuff in. I'm thinking that probably this one circular view is too close. If I want to put a bunch of dimensions in here, I think it's going to be crowded. So I'm getting the Move command. Let me try that again. M for Move. I will use a right crossing window. So click on the right side, cross to the left, and anything I cross gets selected. I'm done selecting, so Enter to accept. And now I want to move, what's my base point? I don't care. But you know what? I would like to have ortho on. So when I click my base point, if I just click someplace else, I'm not going to be lined up anymore. So I'm going to use my trick of, I could go down here and click this button, but I'm feeling swift, so I'm going to hit my F8 key, F8 for ortho. See there, ortho came on. Now, for my second point, I'm all lined up ortho-wise. And now I have room to start putting more dimensions in here.